Where do our children's negative character traits come from? Were they born lazy, irresponsible, selfish, ungrateful? Most parents seem to think so, but research shows these traits are more likely to come from a series of subtle interactions with their parents.
At certain points in the parent-child relationship, the parent gives a verbal or facial cue about one of the child's character traits. For example, the parent says or implies the child is irresponsible. When the child receives this cue, the child is more likely to act according to that character trait. A vicious cycle ensues because the parent will give the cue more often due to this irresponsible behavior, and the child will then repeat the irresponsible behaviors.
A child isn't typically lazy due to genetics. It is more likely they are lazy because they think their parents perceive them that way. Children tend to act according to how they think their parents assume they will act.
When parents believe a child has inherently negative character traits, it makes it hard for the child to have a deep bond with the parent. Most people wouldn't want to be close to someone that thinks they're irresponsible or makes bad choices. Being around that person would just remind them of their inadequacies, so they tend to pull away from these people.
Thankfully, the solutions are effective. We can often reverse our child's negative character traits by deciding to change our own perceptions and actions with our child.
A child's character traits are actually constantly in flux. We as parents think, oh, I have one child who is responsible and the other one is irresponsible, or one makes really good decisions, the other makes really poor decisions. But parents don't realize it's this type of thinking that has shaped those traits.
How do we change our own negative perceptions and ultimately the child's behavior?
We want to reflect back positive traits. If our child appears to exhibit irresponsible behavior, we want them to know that we believe they're responsible, but sometimes make mistakes like we all do. If a child didn't do their homework, you might say, "You didn't do your homework this time, and we all sometimes make mistakes, but I know you're a hard worker and that you get your work done."
But what if consequences are needed?
So for example, if a young boy, he hits his sibling, we might say, you need to go to timeout. Or you could choose to reinforce a positive trait by saying, I'm really surprised you would do that. You're such a sweet brother. But you made a mistake, so you need to go to timeout.